Hi, guys. Welcome to this episode of the Trainer Feed. We are your hosts. My name is Angel Sanchez. With me, I have Mr. David Bravo
Hello.
and Mr. Jacques Delogere.
What's up, everyone?
How are you guys doing today?
I'm good. A little bit of a mishap a couple weeks ago, and now it's a lot better. So
He
hopefully,
was still on IR. We've got to trade him. That's it. No more.
no,
Yeah.
my hamstring wasn't doing so hot, but it's a lot better now.
And this hamstring, man, this has
It's
been
been like 2 weeks.
situation. Have you been icing it? Have you been rolling, stretching?
I've been heating it. Doing some RDLs, getting some blood flow.
I wouldn't heat it, but that's just me.
You gotta heat. You gotta heat before activity, and then you gotta chill after activity. You know what's also interesting? I was listening to something about that whole recovery process. I feel like we still don't know enough about it, and it is some of the stuff is it depends, right? Like it's one of those situations.
I mean, rice has been kind of like debunked already.
I was just gonna break that up. Yeah.
People were talking about how like you can't or you're not supposed to do those cold treatments directly after exercise. Like you're supposed to wait a day and then do it after, or wait like X amount of time. But I'm getting anabolic window vibes from that situation as well.
The thing
it's like
with
how
that
much
is,
time has to pass for that.
The thing is, if you look at it, in my opinion, is I don't think ice really helps in the long term. I think maybe if you want some direct, I guess, relief from any pain, ice helps, but you want that inflammation to help you repair your muscle. You want to get blood flow in there. So compress. I personally think heat is best to get some blood flow through that. But and then depending on how it feels the next 2 days, get some more movement through that, movement that you're able to do it. But now if it's a fucking full on tear, then you got to go to the doctor. That's like
that's it. Yeah, the ice isn't gonna help you. I was talking to my orthopedic, my knee doctor about it, and saying, people are saying rice doesn't work, and I can't believe it. Like I swear by it, I've always sworn by it, and it's always helped. And he says, people are just gonna say stuff just to create controversy for one, but also he says you're lowering the. Oh my god, I can't remember exactly what he said. I don't want to butcher it. I don't quote him, but he just said like. Yes, people will say one thing, and ultimately, if it helps you, and this is what it's doing, I think I was talking to someone else about it. When you come out of surgery and all that swelling, you'll want to ice it. Trust me, I'm telling you, first experience. That was what really helped. A lot of water, the anti-inflammatories helped also. So I think in that scenario, but I think going back to your point, David, if something's torn, icing it might put the discomfort at bay, but you're not really. It's like I don't really believe in cortisone shots either. I think you're patching up, you're not arresting the problem. That's how I think. So I think that same thing with rice is try it, don't rely on it. If you're doing it every day, something's wrong for sure. But anyway, going back to the original point. Sorry, guys.
Going back to the original point is that my career isn't over in the rugby field. I'm going to go and I'm going to keep hitting people hard. No pause.
Put them back on your team. Put them back on your roster.
LTIR, baby.
Yeah, I feel the same way about like cortisone shots. I feel like a couple of clients have had poor experiences with them, but I think that long term, first of all, you don't know how you're going to come out of that too. Like some people are more fucked up than when they went in before they got the cortisone shots. And the other thing I think is long term, I'll have to double check this and someone can fact check me on this, but I think it's like detrimental to bone health and ligament health. So depending on where you're getting it, like your cartilage can start to see some degradation over time, things like that. Anywho, that is a sidebar. What we really wanted to talk about today was some of our continuing education. So we got some stuff coming up this year. I know that I've went to some conferences in January and February, and we were talking about going to one, all three of us, which may end up being two of us sometime this summer. So we'll speak a little bit about that. But first, what about you guys? Have you guys gone to continuing education this year?
Not really.
What
have I done?
COVID.
No, I thought I had done. Honestly, there's nothing right now that the only thing that speaks out to me is RKC, I think I'll do that at some point. But and Strong First, that's the one I want to do. But David, do you know much about Strong First? I think you told me a bit about it, right?
It's super expensive.
Yeah, I think that's what you told me. But that's the
Yeah.
one I want to. That's the one I would probably do. But and I'm trying to get my feet wet to group fitness as well. So I'm trying to. I got that certification last. Shit, what was that? I can't remember when that was now. Actually, I can't remember. But that was one of the last certifications I got, the group fitness certification. So that I can start doing that, and then I'll see things from there. But yeah, I guess me and David haven't been nearly as caught up as you, Angel.
No, I need to recert though. I gotta re-up my cert for precision nutrition. I think I'm due, so I have to do that. And that's it. I mean, I'm gonna start school in the fall, so I have other things to worry about.
David, going to
So wait a
school.
minute.
You know which one?
So wait. All right, go ahead. You know which one?
No, not yet. Some of these schools are taking so long to just like say yes or no, and I'm like, bruh, just say yes or no.
no.
We should actually talk a little bit about that offline, but yeah, we should talk a little bit about that offline because I might know I did have some conversations with some people about that stuff, and I think it will be beneficial to you for you to just have more information. I don't know, and then you can make a decision based on that. But what I wanted to say was that are you just going to not be certified? You're not going to be a certified personal trainer, David? Is that what you're saying? You're going to work uncertified while doing school?
No, I'm gonna be certified, but I'm not going to take. I'm probably not going to take extra certifications just to have them.
Will you NASM?
NCSF.
NCSF?
I'm NASM though.
NCSF, you got to audit this, man. I don't trust it. I'm just
Hey, look, hey,
don't get your man.
I was just playing.
Yeah.
I did so I did Kabuki Strength. I did that one in January. Nice. So that was pretty cool. I had a couple of big heavy hitters there. Yep. And then I did. You got the email.
What email? Oh, was it an EQ thing?
Yeah, it was an EQ thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, this guy.
Don't pull that shit, David.
Yeah, we tell him about it. He's like, "Nah, I'm not going." You know.
And then 2 minutes later, I never knew about it.
Yeah. So anyway, I did that, and then I did something called the Find Your Prime Summit, and it was from this guy Derek Mendoza, and I've taken another course with him before last year. I wanted to say. And I think he was like the head strength and conditioning coach, if I'm remembering correctly, for the Seattle Mariners. And then he hosted that, and that was pretty cool. So he's had me on some sort of emailing list. And when the Find Your Prime Summit came through my inbox, I was like, let me check it out. And it had some heavy hitters there as well. So I checked that out, and that was good. And now we're looking towards Perform Better, right? So it's about that time to get back to in-person stuff. And I think that that's going to be a really good one. I remember the last one we did
2018
in Long Beach. Yeah, in Long Beach, that was pretty dope. And this one, I think there are 3 options. It's like Orlando, Chicago,
and Providence,
Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So, and they tend to be good. I mean, from what I've seen, from what I've experienced, I really enjoyed it. And I really value, now I know kind of how to do those things too. Like those of you who are getting into continuing education and first time going into seminars and things like that, there are some tips and tricks you can do to, make sure that you're getting the most out of it. But we can talk about that a little bit later. Did you guys want to talk about the summit at all?
So just picking back off that point where we had gone to one a number of years ago, and it was a really good chance to be in the same room with all these very awesome professionals, these very highly talented people in the industry, where you had Mike Boyle, Gray Cook, you had I'm forgetting the names now. Dan John was another one.
Michelle Dalcourt.
Michelle Dalcourt was the one I was thinking of. He was there also. There was a whole other host of other coaches and professionals. And as you just mentioned, some of those have really impressive credentials. So it was really fascinating. I think that one night as well, it's a social where you just get to hang out and have beers with them, and you're you were rubbing elbows with Mike Boyle, and you were asking what advice would you give to me if I'm doing this kind of training. And I remember the words he told me, and I was like, oh, but I was like, but this is the guy who took a risk, who's made it work. And I remember him saying, when I started off, no one was a trainer past in their 30s or 40s. What I mean by that is no one was training when they were above the age of in their 30s. It just wasn't a common thing for there to be a trainer in their 50s and 60s, when he was starting off. And now he's in his 60s, I want to say, or late 50s at least. He spoke about that, and I know, David, you've quoted his stuff, especially when we talk about children trying to get better at sports, just practice, just play the sports. I think that comes from him, right?
Yeah.
And that's really, I think you have the lecture component, and then you have the hands-on component right after. So it's really good to kind of if you can't do both, you get to see one lecture and then one interactive part of the day right after. I loved it. I know I learned a lot from that weekend, met some people, and I'm really excited to go. We were thinking about going to one in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Like the summer of 2020, we were all talking about it. And then we all know what happened in 2020, so it didn't happen. It was virtual. And yes, virtual was awesome because everyone could get to take part, but being there in person, it's the same when you talk about training virtually and in person. Like, training virtually is awesome. It's phenomenal that you can have your client in another part of the country, another part of the world, and still keep them on track. But that in person just has an extra 5%, whatever it is. And it's just really cool to feed off other people as well. You feed off their energy. I had a blast. I really want to go. And this year, as you mentioned, in June, it's in Orlando. It's in Chicago in July, and then Providence, Rhode Island. Like, I think that if Orlando doesn't work, I'm also pretty down through Chicago because I've never been to Chicago. So, but I'm down through Orlando, Chicago. I'm pretty excited. There's 4. There's usually one in California, but I guess this year they're just getting 3 going, and they'll go from there next year. But from a certification standpoint as well, once I go to one of these, that's the other thing with certifications I was going to mention. With NASM, to my knowledge, when I attend one of these, I don't have to do any certifications for 2 years in theory.
How many CEUs does it give you?
I have to do. If I have to do 2.0, it gives me 1.9, and then if I do my CPR, it gives me 0.2, so it takes me over. Okay. That's what it is. So for me, it makes a lot of sense.
It's a little bit.
NSCA you said you couldn't. You can only have so many or something. I thought that was kind of crazy. But
yeah, because we have different categories, and if you fulfill enough CEUs in one specific category, they don't let you continue to add to that.
Gotcha.
And the amount of CEUs is a little bit extensive. It also depends on how many certifications you have. And I might go for my CSCS RD, which is like with distinction. Nice. So we'll see. Just on pace for that. So, we'll see what ends up happening. But what I did want to say is some tips and tricks. So if you guys are getting into this space a little bit now, more so than ever, focus on planning it out. So map it out, see who you want to see. So get the itinerary and kind of time it out just like you would your normal schedule for your sessions or your clients. You want to make sure that you're seeing the people you want to see and you're being present, being interactive. Make sure to either talk to people a little bit beforehand, talk to people directly after, give yourself enough time for that. So that way you can get the most out of attending some of these summits. The other thing is sometimes for the more practical components, you want to be in the front. I know it's might seem a little bit redundant, but I remember specifically when we saw Gray Cook, it was kind of like there was a lot of people and a lot of movement and we weren't in the best vantage point. And part of it was we didn't get there early enough to find that good spot and then go from there. So it was kind of like some things you were seeing, some things we weren't seeing, and that made it a little bit lackluster. And then the last part I would say is also be ready to mingle with people, be ready to have your stuff established. Like, don't be ashamed to like hand out business cards to other coaches or put your name out, follow people on Instagram. Like this is the way that we're moving right now. And you never know where these networks might intertwine. So I saw some dude at Long Beach who was doing some tactical training for firefighters out in LA, and followed him, talked to him, followed him on Instagram. Turns out he knew somebody that I knew, and he ended up doing some UFC work, some work with some fighters. And actually, I knew the trainer that he was working with, who works out of Church Street Muay Thai gym downtown, and from way back when, because when my friends were fighting, it was like in high school. I met the dude because two of my buddies were fighting, and we went to Pennsylvania together in order to like, because I wanted to see them fight or whatever, and they were fighting, so I had met the coach, and it was just like, long story short, like, you never know how things can kind of come together, and you never know who might know who, and then it sets you up for a good discussion and might help you out with your career, in different ways.
You can never have too
So
many connections either. There's never
exactly,
about, yeah.
exactly. So those are some tips and tricks. Just wanted to throw that out there, kind of like plan some stuff out for you guys. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to send them into the inboxes, and we will catch you. Also, let your friends know that you're going. That also helps too. That also helps with networking. So we're going to promote this. If we end up doing that, we finalize it, we're going to put it on IG or whatever. So that way we can get more people to come, and then just kind of feel like one big family out there, or, striking force. Anyway.
Maybe even do some interviews when we're there. That could be another thing as well.
Yeah,
we'll
it'll
see.
be dope.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Anyway, thanks, guys. We will catch you. Thank you for listening. Trainer feed, Roan. Roan discount code 15% off is the trainer feed. The trainer feed, all one word. You'll get your 15% off. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.